as great defenders, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth, be ours forever, Jamaica, that we love. Jamaica, 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 that we love. Play steady show in the morning and in the evening too. We play steady show in the morning and in the evening too. Yeah. This is Leather. Welcome to the Steady Show. Like, share, and subscribe. Eternal Father.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Steady Show, one and all. This is a great evening to come and talk to the family. We have a number of things that we will be talking about tonight, and this is good because, listen, I have some very interesting information to share with the family. Rose Henry in the building, big up yourself. Laurie in the building, big up yourself. I'm not going to do a long introduction tonight. I have some information to share with the family, and I'm getting right into it. Startling revelations, folks. So, Michael Raffington, good evening. Jasmine, good evening. Mr. C. Mister, good evening. It's good to see you. My fact checker is here, Mr. C. Mister. Big up. Everybody go ahead, double tap your screen, hit the like right now. It's very, very important that we have this conversation. You understand me? Up and running, man. Up and running. So listen, I'm not going to be long tonight because I intend to give y'all a show tonight. So first of all, we're here to talk about, or this video is in reaction to a very interesting video that Deion Jackson Miller, she put out on her channel today. And in that video, we had two attorneys. You understand me? And each of them is on different sides of the spectrum, right? One attorney believed that the manslaughter route was the route to go, right? And the other believed that there was enough information to pursue, the murder trial. What's one of the things that is interesting about this is that, to begin with, we know that Deion Jackson Miller is a lawyer herself. So here is a lawyer calling on other attorneys, and that's regular stuff for attorneys to do, calling on other attorneys to get their input. I'm going to cut through it, because I want to give you information. I'm not holding the information because I'm tired, so I'm going to give it to you real quick, right? So one of the lawyers, the first one, that's the female is the one who believed that the DPP made the right decision. The second attorney believed that there was a strong case to pursue a trial. And from what I'm seeing, most people, including the people in a Deion Jackson Miller's comment, they are more in agreement with the second attorney than the first attorney. But one of the things that got my attention was the fact that, both attorneys they have been prosecuting attorneys. One of the attorneys, right, has been deputy DPP, who has worked and who was working in the DPP office up until 2023. Up until 2023, working in the office. And let me tell you, the second attorney, the one that most of the people agree with, I'm not holding information tonight, right? So that attorney believed that attorney was in the office working, now in Bermuda. So Dion Jackson Miller took the one that agreed from Jamaica, the one that disagreed. Former DPP in Jamaica. His name, I have his name in my research right now. So let's go for that one. Right? I hope y'all saw that video because it's very interesting. So if anybody remember, I think it was about September 2025, there was an article in the Observer where Mikel Jackson, I believe, from the JFJ, she put something out there to say that, this, it's a shame that we know that Paula's time was coming to an end. However, but we don't have nobody confirmed yet. And 4 individuals have been shortlisted for the role. Well, interesting to know that this DPP, the second one, is the one that I find to be of interest because that's the one that a lot of people agree with, but the background is pretty interesting. So we're gonna listen to the first one. We're gonna listen to the one who agrees first, and then I will give you her background afterwards, and then I will let you listen to the second one, and I will decide how I want to do it. Go ahead and hit the like button. This is very, very interesting information I'm bringing. Exclusive. We have some revelations to pass on tonight, but let us hear what's going on. So Dion Jackson Miller did give her opening statements. And yes, Dion Jackson Miller is for trial, just like many Jamaicans, and we will get into that. But what we're focusing on at this point is to hear, the sources of the information. Because remember, I've been telling everybody on the Steady Show that the source from which you get your information is very, very important. Let's listen to the first attorney, the one who believed that the DPP made the right decision, right? Let's go ahead.
Viewing them, grateful to all of them for sharing their thoughts. Here's what Anne-Marie Furtado Richards said. She's an attorney, she's a former prosecutor.
I believe it was the realistic and practical route. So the ingredients to prove murder are the death of the deceased, that is named. So we would have to prove that.
Yes, I agree that she did a great video, excellent video. I literally recommended the video in my post tab, so I hope some of us, we did actually check it out.
2,
right?
That it was the accused who killed her. 3, that it was by a voluntary or deliberate act. And this is what is important in this case, because it is for the Crown to show that her death was not caused by an accident, that there was no lawful excuse, and this is the important part, that it was not caused as a result of provocation or self-defense. So if the Crown cannot rebut the issue of provocation, then the ingredient for that aspect which the Crown has to prove, they will not make. The information for provocation must be evidentiary based. So if it's not provided on the Crown's case and the defense is putting it on their case, the judge is duty bound when giving directions to the jury to explain what provocation is and to put to them 2 verdicts that they're going to have before them, which is whether the person is guilty or not guilty of murder, or whether or not the person is guilty or not guilty of manslaughter. Are we going to spend 7, 8, 10 months, 6 weeks for you to come back to the decision, which is manslaughter has to be raised to the jury, and perhaps when they hear his version, they will accept manslaughter?
Listening to that, though, the logical question would seem to be, but then everybody who is charged with murder can just plead provocation, say to the pay, I want to plead manslaughter because of provocation, and based on the explanation you and the DPP's office in their statement are given, then that would have to be accepted if the prosecution is saying they can't rebut.
And that is indeed so. That is a proper thing. If it is that you have looked at your evidence, remember, it is what you have before. In this case, you might have a situation where your evidence shows that provocation cannot arise in the situation. The defense might raise that, and it's going to be a question for the jury to decide because they are the judge of the fact. In this case, we're saying it's a circumstantial evidence where you, the Crown, You don't have any evidence outside of what he's saying as to what really took place that resulted in her death.
Senior prosecutor Adley Duncan didn't agree with that assessment, though.
All right, so those were her arguments. So let's listen to who we're talking about that provided those statements. Not a lightweight attorney at all. So Ms. Furtado is a prominent Jamaican attorney known for her extensive experience in both prosecution and defense. You understand me? Within Jamaica legal system. She currently serves as the chair of the Criminal Practice and the Procedure Committee. The chair of the Criminal Practice and the Procedure Committee. Right? So this is not just some ordinary lawyer. This is somebody who understands processes, who is at the head of this thing, which means to say she's competent when it comes on to, you know, whatever processes are involved in ensuring that, you know, things are dealt with in the right way from a criminal perspective. She currently serves as the chair and practice of and procedure of committee of the Jamaican Bar Association. And I know she won't talk about yet. Hold on a little bit first. Wanna be patient, right? No, where she actively addresses systemic issues in the criminal justice system, including concerns about outdated infrastructure and procedural delays. So she's probably one of them who was saying too much backlog in the thing, and you know, the justice minister, they were the ones who decided that to clear the backlog, if people guilty and they come and they plea manslaughter, they get away. So if this is your first show, please understand that, first of all, me at the first one, by the time from here, Bert Samuels came and spoke out on the case. The first thing I said, the first show I did, the show was, is this a kangaroo court in the making, right? But just a talking through the thing, right? So I suspect that based on the players that were involved and Bert Samuels coming out and giving us that preemptive information, even though him claims say he's not a part of the whole thing, it raised an alarm because, you understand me, we know the PNP Pickers Guild Committee system work already. Stick up in there, so we're not ready to talk about that yet, right? So she's the one who deals with high-profile cases such as ongoing multi-million-dollar fraud case involving former employees of Sagicor. She has acknowledged challenges in gathering necessary witness statements and the procedural documents leading to the delays in the case and so on. So that is just to show you that this is not a lightweight person that we're talking about right here, so, right? And the source of that is the Jamaica Gleaner. So we'll leave it right there, so. She said she believed the DPP took a good route with a good defense. It might just end up, as the PNP woman did say, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You understand me? She believed that it probably would still end up back in a manslaughter. But for a lot of Jamaicans, they do believe that regardless of what would have happened, murder should have been pursued first. And that is how they feel about it, and you can't change their mind. Now, Mr. Ruffington said, I'll go ahead and look at it since you say I don't usually listen to her videos. Since you say so. Yeah, man, it's good. So I'm glad you mentioned that because, and we're going to talk about this in the show, and I'm not going to divert too much, but logical fallacies mean to say you can discredit the source so that you do not have to carry the burden of the argument. I do believe that is what they call what? Ad hominem or something like that, or one of them. We're not gonna get into that yet. That is coming up on the steady show. Now hit the like button, may I talk good tonight. I'm not gonna stay long because I'm kind of tired, right? That's the first attorney. That is what she has to say. Now, when it comes down to the Jamaican people, before I play the next attorney, let's talk about this. In the post tab, I put out this thing, right? The first one I put out is let's focus on this one, right? I say, what do you believe is the reason the DPP chose to accept Jolian Silvera's guilty plea to manslaughter, right? And I have 4 options. So far, 242 individuals took that vote, but I'm sure that was within 2 hours, so that's pretty good. So while you're on the show, you can go in the post tab. You see it right there, so? The post tab is right there. You can go ahead and vote, but I'm going to work with what's on my screen right now. 242 took the vote so far. The first option, did she accept the guilty plea to manslaughter because of fear of losing the case at trial? 22% believe that, but I'm not going to go in no particular order. As a matter of fact, I want to go in order. Other, 2%, no explanation. Incompetence, 9%. Political corruption, 9%. And then fear of losing the case, 22%. The biggest one that we have is political corruption. Now, it's very interesting that they're saying political corruption because this is a DPP that she was officially installed in her role under this government, right? So people are saying political corruption. I'm looking forward to hear more about it. There are other perspectives on it as well, but I think, and some of y'all heard the video from Dion Jackson Miller, right? But let's hear what the people are saying. I think it's very important. Then I go to the next lawyer. So I want us to look at this video as an informational video. We're putting things out there, things that we're most likely going to come back and talk about. But these are great insights that we're getting. You understand me? The Jamaican people are telling us what they think about it. So let's hear what the people are saying. Somebody is saying, I see accepting the plea as the easy way out. They are trying to open they are not trying to open Pandora's box. I see that. Somebody said protecting them from come below. Folks, if you don't believe that politics is involved in this situation, then this is exactly why I'm having this conversation right now, because I realize that a lot of labor rights don't understand when Dr. Andrew Holness spoke about the Pickers Guild Committee, some people still don't understand how PNP corruption run deep. You understand me? And how they infiltrate the institutions, especially these institutions. So the first thing I want to say about the second lawyer, since we know no can't wait, is that I believe that lawyer was one of the lawyers that was up for the role. You understand me? Of DPP. So he served in quite a number of situations before, right? But he never got it. So some of the words he left, you're going to hear more about it. When he was leaving Jamaica to Bermuda, right? Is that the DPP's office need a fresh look. And that more or less, for want of a better term, this DPP will have her job cut out for her, right? But JFJ was hitting out to figure out who's going to get involved. So, say when it comes to JFJ, them not lobby for nobody if I don't PNP them. When I get the play, when I get the gist, it's going to get even better, right? Let me tell you the best thing I can tell you about this individual. I hope I didn't send it to this phone. Well, this person was up in the role up until November 2023, apparently. Our understanding is that Silvera dirted Melissa on November 10, 2023. Well, this person worked in the DPP office up until November, and then they decided to take up a role in Bermuda, and I believe that somewhere in December. So it has me questioning, their point of view. So I have my own point of view, just like Dion Jackson Miller. I think that's good information. I think one of us need to go right now and just hit the like button. One of us double tap on the screen and hit the like button and get me to about 70 likes right now. Everybody hit the like button, 70 likes. If you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. If you double tap your phone screen, it will register as a like. Also, what you can do is you can go in the top right-hand corner of your screen on your phone, and you will see the three dots. Hit the dots, and then you will see the option to hit thumbs up. Go ahead and do that. Very important. So we hear the first lawyer, where we know most Jamaicans don't agree with, and there's no problems with that, right? Let's hear what the second lawyer has to say, and then I just gave you some information, but I just put the information out there so that, while we listen, we can agree and be truthful, but also understand that sometimes the truth comes at a time when it is being spoken from a place of bias, right? So if this a man that did a wait on the job, I never get it, right? And the DPP that is in office right now end up getting the job after Paula Llewellyn, that the man never got it. It's very interesting to me that as good as her video be, Dean Jackson Miller decided to reach out to the same individual to provide some perspective as to what. You understand me? Go on in the case. I am not influencing anybody. I'm just saying. With that being said, let's go ahead and listen to what the second person has to say.
Former Deputy Director of Prosecutions here in Jamaica. He's now Deputy Director in the Department of Prosecutions in Bermuda. He did say it's a decision that would be a judgment call for the relevant prosecutor in the matter, and that there were valid arguments either way. But he said it wasn't inevitable that the prosecution would have to take that decision to not go to trial on the murder charge the way it could have gone.
If you had to choose between flipping a house or flipping dirt, what would you pick?
All right, so we're waiting for this ad to end, and let's go.
The inevitable result.
Based on what we've been told, yes.
Based on the information that is now in the public domain, and it absolutely was not the inevitable result. I have no kind of specialized or inside knowledge. I'm going just based on the press release and more detail which emerged.
All right, so pay attention. He said he doesn't have any specialized knowledge. He's just going by the press details. But what he said made sense. I'm going to give that to him. But just understand that he does not have direct relations with this case. But this is somebody who worked in the office before. By the way, this was somebody that was disciplined by Paula Llewellyn because of some posts that he made, you understand me, on social media before. But we don't know that there is any correlation between that incident and his take on the matter. I'm just letting you know you can still agree with him. But the most important thing I want to put to labor rights is to understand that, yes, political corruption is at play. And I don't believe this is on the JLP part. It's the whole if a PNP them who in the system, right? So just understand that the bigger play for the PNP in this case is this. They want to discredit this DPP using this case. They're politicizing the case to discredit the JLP. You understand me? Because this JLP came in, this DPP came in under the JLP thing. Just understand that that's a part of it. So while we agree that, this thing really hit the man murder his wife, and ideally we would have wanted a murder trial, he's given some good arguments. You understand me? And it doesn't take away from whether you agree that the DPP should have been, removed, or the DPP needs to, you understand me, step down or whatever. It doesn't matter. He does have valid arguments. Let's listen to the rest of what he has to say. I have to interrupt because that's how we have to do with people's video. You understand? Let's go.
And based on that, it is, on my reading, a very, very strong case for murder, which absolutely justified the initial murder charge. And when I heard Mrs. Furtado Richards speaking, and she was very correctly identifying some of the factors that would likely have gone into the decision, what I would say from my part is that the thing about circumstantial evidence is that, and Mr. Hyatt had alluded to this a bit, the thing about circumstantial evidence is that you're asking a jury to form conclusions based on inferences. And breaking that down, all that means is nobody is an eyewitness. Nobody's coming to say, I saw this, I saw that. But when you put certain circumstances together in a chain, they present a picture. And that picture could satisfy somebody of murder or manslaughter or nothing at all. All of that to say that I think some of the conversation has, it seems that people are taking the view that once somebody claims provocation and the prosecution cannot negative it, or there's no evidence to negative it, then provocation as a plea must be accepted. But I don't think that is the correct way to look at it. And if the claim, and I think the claim has been made, that the prosecution did not have evidence to negative provocation, and I'm not sure that is entirely the most accurate way to frame it. And how I would frame it is this: we all know what all the circumstances are. We all know what all the evidence is. And based on the evidence, the prosecution would be asking or inviting the jury to draw certain conclusions from the evidence. And a shrewd defense lawyer would be asking the jury to form different conclusions from the evidence, or to invite the jury to say they could not even form any conclusion on the evidence. Now, based on what is now known by everyone because of what has been released in the press release, if you present a case for murder, you say this is all the evidence, and these inferences can be drawn to show that this was a case of murder. The jury could then be invited to say, well, I don't think you should draw those inferences. I want you to draw these other inferences. And if you draw these other inferences, or you accept what the defense is saying, then you find manslaughter. But I think that it could validly have proceeded in a way where the case was presented for the jury to resolve whether they find murder or they find manslaughter.
Let me follow up on that, and go back to what you said at the beginning, which is it's a judgment call. As you said, this set of prosecutors made this call, but you said, and it could also have been valid to have decided to go ahead with the murder charge and go to trial. So what would then have been the reasoning that would have led to the second route rather than the first?
So excited today because I just came to the mailbox and picked up.
All right, 1 second. She just came to the mailbox. All right, let's hear this one.
Route was what has been said, that the prosecution could not negative provocate the defense advance of provocation. And that is true as far as it goes, that there was no definitive, specific item of evidence that could definitively negative provocation. However, when you examine what was advanced, there is evidence that the Crown would have been able to present from which jurors could properly be invited to reject the defense of provocation conceivably. So, for example, where it is said in the press release that there was this terrible argument between the parties, and as a result of the argument where the defendant says particularly hurtful things were said, he lost his temper and fired the gun. Most people, and of course, when you're dealing with a jury, you're dealing with people who are invited to draw upon their common sense and human life experience. Most people don't walk around with a firearm in their hand as they go through their house. Most people, if they have a licensed firearm, they keep it in a particular place. So if it is that they were having an argument, if the jury even accepts that they were arguing in the first place, then at what point in time did the firearm enter the defendant's hand? Because if it is that he did not have that firearm at the start of the argument, because most people don't walk around with guns as they go about their day-to-day lives in their house, and at some point during the argument, he then at that time went for his firearm, then the argument would be motive for murder and not an excuse by provocation. Those are the kinds of things that could be fleshed out at trial that could support a murder conviction. So that's why I say it could equally have been a valid choice to proceed with the murder charge and have the jury decide. And that's just one example of many.
So what do I think? Let me say first.
So, of course, we talk about the fact that, so great arguments. I think those are great arguments. I like the part that we spoke about, people don't walk around with their gun in their hand. Just understand that from my perspective, and when I chose to do disagreement day, we already said we know say I murder the man. The part that I got nervous about right? The part that I got nervous about is the possibility that because of all the evidence that was removed, that they could find a way to overturn the trial. So I understand that. I also stand by the whole matter that I don't believe that we should. Yes, very, very, very good point by the male lawyer. I love that, Mr. C. Mister. And we don't have to look at it as a political issue. The office of the DPP is independent of the political parties. At least that is how it's supposed to be perceived. And of course, Diane Jackson Miller did say in her statements that there's a breakdown of public trust, and we're not going to ignore any of that. The polls that we just looked at a while ago, it said it. But one of the things I find interesting is that unlike most polls in which you put out option, you usually have like people leaning to one particular place, right? Some people is a fear of of losing the case at trial, is a Tapanaris case and all that. So one of the things, I'm not here to say, okay, well, the first lawyer did right and the second lawyer wrong. I believe that they both presented good arguments. And I think the best way to look at this situation is to understand that it's not an easy scenario, right? And one of the things we've been arguing for on the show is that we want to know that these things are seriously considered since he decided to plead guilty to manslaughter. Because manslaughter also, carries life imprisonment. Also, not just that, but it's not just manslaughter, but it's the whole felony of using the firearm in the situation, which makes the situation aggravated manslaughter. So I know that I've been going off and talking about evidence and everything, right? And until we see what legal interpretations, because different lawyers are saying, one thing, different lawyers are saying another. So maybe some people need to understand when I come and I say, when I said I'm going to have disagreement day, well, if I choose the harder case, it simply means that I'm going to invite the best arguments. You understand me? And I've had some great arguments on the show, right? So that's a part of what we want to do, because at the end of the day, my goal is to ensure that people learn how to interact with these things. So this man, I said this today. I told you all his background. You understand me? They wanted this man, PNP wanted this man to be the DPP. And he been in an acting role for a very long time. It didn't work for him. So I don't know if anybody know this song by Whitney Houston and what's your name? Deborah Cox? Deborah Cox your name? Same script, different cast. You understand me? There's a line in the song that says, well, what you're saying could be true. You understand me? But how am I going to take it for you? And then somebody say, another line that say, maybe my reasons are wrong, but I know so you believe me. So you talk the truth. But what I want to say, I'm not saying he's speaking right and he sounds good. So the critical mind, Mr. C. Mister, who's never afraid to agree with me on the show, right? He's saying that they're very good point by the male lawyer. But at the end of the day, what is it that we want out of this? We want justice. And what is going to happen is that somebody else, if it not happened already, might forward on the scene and make some more arguments. But just remember that as good as this man sounded a while ago, he did say him not have no specialized knowledge of what happened. I believe the big problem is, and somebody pointed this out on Sunday, an individual, I believe his name is Anthony White. He came into the comments again, and I want to talk. I want to bring about the same thing. I want to talk about that. So we're not past there so yet. Still hit the like button, people, and let us go ahead. So let's continue with the comments. Somebody say this murderer should be liquidated for his crimes. Somebody say cover up, and we believe it. Of course, we saw the votes, right? But this individual, his name is Anthony White. Anthony White, let me read your comment. So he's been saying this. No, let me go for his original comment, because he has an original one, and then there's one where he replied to somebody. So most people believe that this is a matter of political corruption. What I would like to hear is, where does the political stem from? the political corruption stem from? Where do you believe the political corruption is stemming from? You understand me? Who you believe is involved? And what is the motive for the political corruption? Because every crime has a motive. You understand me? I said to you, what's the motive? So let's go. The man say political corruptions come out on top. He believes that. He said, he says, what does politics have to do with this? That's how he looks at it. He says PMP persons are allegedly involved in the attempted cover-up. But what would the JLP have to do with it? What the government must do now is to get rid of the outdated Gun Court Act of 1974. It was designed to protect persons who witness shootings, but realistically, not only guns commit murders. And in this case, there were no witnesses. I think that's a brilliant comment. So I just think that the fact that, you know, Sykes alone get to preside over this, and everybody know that traditionally where Sykes lean, right? So my thing is that, and I still stand by it, it's not the DPP alone. It's not the DPP alone that should carry the weight. What I've seen is that we're scapegoating the DPP. And please understand that we can disagree with the DPP. May even see somebody this evening who generally don't talk about politics. The individual say, I believe that we should have a peaceful protest about the DPP's decision. And I agree with it, even though I support the DPP. Why do I agree with it? Because the situation could serve as an example of how we proceed. But here's the thing that Dale Jackson Miller said in her video that I spoke about the other day. I want to talk about it again. Dale Jackson Miller said, yes, based on what the first attorney said, then anybody can just come and plead guilty to manslaughter if they murder somebody and get away with it. Well, Dan Jackson Miller asked that question, but this has been going on and we've proven it. Let me see now. So the other day I ran in about 6 cases, right? So let me look now. Examples of cases in Jamaica. And Jamaica 87, big up yourself. We did a collab the other day. He is in law enforcement. And one of the things him said to me is that, well, he lives in America. He said 90 to 95% of the cases, they go to a plea deal. And I know that because I watch a lot of that stuff. I think I'm giving you a good show tonight, folks. Please go ahead and double tap your screen or hit the 3 buttons at the right-hand corner. Give me the thumbs up. Give me the thumbs up right now. I know I'm talking good. So, listen, when we gather here, and I did say this in the season the other day, right? We're going to focus on political education. I am now focusing a little more on regional things. You see, we put out something this morning comparing Barbados with, with what's going on in Jamaica, Mia, with Andrew, right? And I told y'all that I got a link from the opposition party. I sent that video and they say, yeah, that is good. You understand me? And I know they had a thing, their thing tonight. I'm looking for abuse it or whatever. You understand me? But we're gonna look at regional things, right? Anyways, let us not stray too far from what we were about to say. So let's see some more comments from the people. Sorry. Let's see some more comments. I think I needed to do something or else they're gonna miss me. But hey, well, let me go and read some of these comments right now. All right, somebody is saying it's partially incompetence, in my opinion. Right? Okay. I think that's a good answer. All me I say is if we get caught up in just the DPP alone, we're gonna miss a bigger picture, because remember, at the end of the day, anything that is finalized, it has to be. So the DPP could submit it, but it would still be the judge that makes the final decision. And in this case, we can't afford to take our eyes off Sykes. Again, folks, I am not changing my arguments. You just have to pay attention to my arguments. Remember, the very moment I heard Bert Samuels forward on the radio and him say, listen, man, when he heard that, Silvera pleaded guilty of manslaughter or to manslaughter, Bert Samuels came on the radio and he said, listen, sometimes manslaughter is the better route. Again, a part of the problem is, just like how Mr. White said, the Gun Court Act, which allows Bert Samuels to overlook a lot of these things. Another part of the problem is the fact that, you know, the backlog in the courts and the courts wanting to clear the backlog in the court. Again, just understand that the PNP, them run the country for the very longest time. And people used to do a lot of things and get away because of the whole heap of judges them in the justice system and the whole heap of PNP, them, everybody. You understand what I said to you? So that has made it difficult. So when you have a new justice minister come with a backlog now, we say, let's clear them out. So they start cutting deals left, right, and center. Now, the intent of what they wanted, people going to always abuse the thing. And I think that's a part of what we're seeing right now. So they still need to find some way. Big up yourself, my brother, Dujan. They still need to find some way, you understand me, to address these things, right? Because when the DPP loses public trust, because we have a situation where, you know, because of the laws that we have in place and how the law operates and how it is interpreted, there is a problem. Now, please understand that Deon Jackson Miller has committed to a series of videos, right? So she has not discussed provocation in any kind of detail as yet. I believe that's coming up in the series. So I would say still watch Deon Jackson Miller. And Jamaicans, we have to learn this thing right now. You understand me? That's why I talk about logical fallacies, right? Not because you don't like the source. It doesn't mean that the information coming from the source is incorrect. So, for instance, not for we cuss Deon Jackson Miller and say how she bad and how she this. I would know she's PNP. But Deon Jackson Miller is doing this. But I also want people to see the political aspect of this thing, right? Especially JLP, right? Let us demand what we demand. And yes, you know, the PNP, they're going to use it in any way that they can. So it is okay that when it comes down to a human thing, right, that we agree and disagree. Again, I can use this case just like Julian Chang's case, right? Holding face, right? I can use this case just like Julian Chang's case with Dwayne Vaz the other day, right? The Jamaica Labour Party, people, enough JLP, enough Labour rights still stand up for Julian Chang because Jamaica Labour Party people are generally so good-hearted that they don't want injustice, not even when an injustice between PNP and PNP. See there? In a Julian Chang's case, if me I talk the truth, I want to put true, I want to green up the chat, no man. You understand me? I want to hit the like button too if me I talk the truth. Jamaica Labour Party people are generally such an upright set of people that they don't want to see no injustice for even PNP people. So there was the Julian Chang case, and now somebody saying truth. Can I get 2 more witnesses or 3 more? If me I talk the truth and you tell me no man, or else I pay PNP, I watch me then. If no Labour writer watch me, I'm not supposed to green up the chat. Right? But one of the reasons, all right, a couple of people are saying that. I'm not even going to focus on that right now. Here's a point to me I make. PNP does not think like labor rights. You know why? I can't even tell you because I don't know how them stay. Notice, the man them still not come out. Mark Golding still not come out and say, you understand me, as a result of what's happened, the man confessed to manslaughter. And if the man confessed to manslaughter, it doesn't matter if it's murder or manslaughter. This is grounds for the man to be removed from the People's National Party, and it needs to be declared to the people. So now we understand that we are dealing with one set of people who don't have no integrity, no conscience, no respect for human life. So some people are talking truth, no man. So when I come up with a topic, you know, I am not the kind of person who is going to come and say, yeah, man, see the first lady agree with what me have to say it. You understand me? See the lawyer the other day when they talk out on the issue. No. You understand me? The bigger point for us is to understand, you know, the things that are at play, right? So if it was possible, and again, the biggest motive for me supporting the DPP's decision is because I would hate that, and them know them legal terms better than me. See that Dean Jackson Miller a lawyer, and Dean Jackson Miller I call other lawyer to get information. So me not try to play social media lawyer. And when I decide to come up with disagreement day, the motive is not to show you that I'm brighter than anybody else. Remember, I steady did ask the question when me hear Bert Samuels, me not even, when me hear say when Bert Samuels came out and spoke, I will understand, say Sykes go understand. Me say, is this a kangaroo court in the making? Is the same man I talk to, I just said it first. Because me understand the foolishness that go on behind the scene. All right, some people are talking to me. If PNP did think like labor rights, Mark wouldn't have any support. Big statement. Some people said true. So now, the DPP, and by the way, for some people who don't know, this is the DPP that tried the Klansman them and get Tesha Miller in a prison. This is the DPP that tried and got Black man. And remember, Dr. Andrew Holness say, most of the murders in Jamaica, they are gang related. And everybody know that Wandan and Klansman, they've been the wickedest gangs in Jamaica. If you watch Politics, watched by Sir P have a whole catalog out there showing you that. This is the DPP to that. So I just want you to understand that with the DPP is not incompetent, right? This is somebody who has worked on very high-profile cases. You understand me? I said to you? By the way, the Judge Sykes is the one who decided to put a halt on the whole thing about Portmore becoming a parish. And everybody know the whole heap of Klansman them that got away, a lot of those rulings, we know say Judge Sykes on them. There is politics at play in this thing. And I can tell you this. If you've ever gone into any office to work and you're working against a system and the system has a lot of systemic issues, you know that a lot of things that are going wrong, you can't fix them, the issue there, because those systems are built into the entire culture. So what we're dealing with right now is PNP culture. This is the Pickers Guild Committee we're seeing at play. This is what Andrew is talking about. So this is labor rights. This is this is bigger than Melissa. This is way bigger. This is telling us what's happening. So this individual who spoke second, for those of you who are late, right? He was in the role of DPP. This man, Father Levi, not gonna take any calls right now. Can't do that right now. Right? So I lost my chain of thought a while ago. You understand me? No calls at this point. It's already late. We're just laying a foundation, putting all the information out there. It's a labor right moment. You understand me? This is a labor right chat right now. Right? Somebody say, the DPP dropped the ball, brother. She need to step aside. So I don't agree with that. That's a step aside situation. We will have to see how it flesh out. You understand what I said to you? But I am looking at the bigger play. So for me, yeah, I feel that the DPP is playing with everything here. So and you don't get to operate all by yourself in this. But at the end of the day, the end going to justify the means. That is how I see it. Somebody said the case need some international attention. And if that becomes the case, it becomes a case. Again, I am a big believer that when things happen and it creates such an unrest, then something is wrong somewhere. And a part of it has to do with the laws and how the laws can be interpreted in certain situations. Right? So if I saw, for me now, how me stay is this. If you see the DPP is at the root of cleaning up most of the crime in Jamaica, right? Then I am not going to throw away the DPP so quickly, right? However, if this becomes the situation, then now it becomes a lesson. But the bigger thing that we should agitate for is, like Mr. White say, you understand me? This thing about having judge alone look at this and judge alone look at that. Those things are definitely a problem. This thing about, you understand me? So, yeah, the thing I was looking for a while ago, let me go back to it. Because we can't just look at Melissa's case. Yesterday or 2 days ago, then dirt one lady in a Jamaica same way. You see me? Let me see. Examples of cases in Jamaica where someone that was charged for murder pleaded guilty to manslaughter. I did this before, but I'm just going to do it again successfully. All right, let's see what we can find right now. See? So this has been an ongoing thing in our system in Jamaica. It's not just a DPP thing. All right, so the top of the list, 2023 to 2026, Jolian Silvera. You understand me? Number 2, there is a case in 2025, Jermaine Minot did that. And a whole lot of people, I went through quite a number of them the other day. It's been a regular practice in the system, and it's bad because people are not really, paying the real penalty for the crimes that them commit. You understand me? Somebody saying it can be appealed after conviction. Okay, interesting. Good stuff. Somebody said that is true. You are talking facts. Somebody says so truth. All right. So some people understand. So my understanding is that we put a lot of emotions into the outcome, But you have to understand that legal proceedings is a different thing. And I'm saying this is the point at which some of we go agree on what the DPP did, right? And some of we going to disagree. The next thing is that in a full law, remember, the man decided to plead guilty to manslaughter at the last moment. The law have to act differently when he decided to plead guilty to manslaughter based on what they're not able to prove. You understand me? All of that is there. But it is for them to legally decide, how. So again, if Justice Sykes, so may I say, it would have still been a Justice Sykes' hand to say, because remember, she was pursuing murder until something changed. And one of the key things, and I'm going to come back to it, we know that one of the biggest cases ever tried in Jamaica is the Vibes Cartel case. And we heard the voice notes and the witness statement. We hear a lot of things, right? But when it came down to it, what happened? Because of missteps in the trial process, Cartel was able to bust the case there because of things they did wrong. So they have their own things that they need to look at to decide, how they proceed, right? Them have them one thing with them look on about how them proceed. That's why somebody will say they lawfully did it. The lady that we spoke about earlier, remember, she's very heavy. She works directly into these cases. So just understand that the best outcome that we could get, and this is how I reason this out, right? If it is that they can consider everything, and even though he successfully pleaded guilty to manslaughter, the fact that manslaughter can carry up to life, that's going to be something for Justice Sykes to determine. Because him could have pleaded guilty to murder and still get a lesser sentence, You understand me? So to me, it's all going to be based in how the judge deemed the case and everything, including the cover-up, the evidence that we can't find, the poor job that the first investigator did, which made the DPP's job even more difficult, the change in the crime scene. So intent is all over the case, folks. There is intent there, and I do believe, like everybody else that believes, that the man murdered the woman. The problem is the legal maneuverings and the possibility that he can get out of the case. Somebody say, I'm not doing a day over 12 years. Oh, you say him not doing a day over 12 years? Well, that would be sad. Because remember, the gun charge alone, and the aggravated thing, I believe it carries up to 25, So if him not do over 12 years, we did a survey on that the other day too, so we can look for that. Right? We did a survey on it. Let me see what the people are saying. Let's hear what the people are saying they believe. Video shows a man. Oh man, come on. We did a survey on it the other day. Let me look for that survey. People told us what they believe. And we are getting down to the close of this show. We're going to have to follow up again. The good thing is that we heard the arguments and we will continue to address them as they go. So let's hear. All right. The question was 3 days ago. What do you predict Julian Silvera's sentence will be? I have 875 votes, right? 29% believe. Like, for start with a small number first. Let's do it again. 6% say other, right? 19% say 11 to 20 years. 0 to 10%, 0 to 29% says 0 to 10 years total, right? And the biggest one we have is over 20 years, 46%. Again, just understand that if this went to a jury, right? Just like how people split in the poll them, in the comments them, and the lawyer them split. Just understand that at the same way things can be split among, you understand me, jury. Somebody made a comment today and say the DPP decided for the jury. Now, I saw 411 carry a video the other day. And one of the things she spoke about was the fact that they were trying to eliminate people who had over time become career jurors, which means to say they keep going back to the same people. So if JLP, and this is just JLP, this is training for UNO, because traditionally JLP have not been this politically aggressive to be able to see politics and everything. However, the PNP, when you deal with the PNP is a very different animal from the JLP. You understand me? And so this is what we're dealing with. Let me hear what people are saying right now. Somebody say, all right. Somebody say, so true. All right. Let's hear what somebody say. What is the worst that could happen had the case gone to trial? Would it not be that the case could be found not guilty to murder, but guilty to manslaughter? Absolutely. And we heard that argument today. And I believe on that basis, that was a very reasonable argument. However, the case is going to depend on provable evidence. Because the big thing that when it comes to these things is that it is going to be on this, the burden is going to be on the state to be able to prove intent, you understand me, up to and beyond any shadow of any reasonable doubt. In other words, there cannot be any reasonable doubt. No. Please also do not discount the fact that the man have Peter Champagny on the case, and some of y'all might be too young. Right? Some of y'all might be too young, but these lawyers are experienced. A lot of these lawyers, them work with the judges, them work with one another. We don't need to remember that PNP had an 18.5 year stretch in a government in a Jamaica where everything went down. Murders, you understand me? I mean, everything, when I say go down, I mean like go down like Finsack, right? Economy bad, dirt in rate sky high. Please understand that a lot of the things that happen and a lot of the cases and people and things get the backlog them. A lot of the backlogs, they're coming from under PNP government. And the JLP are trying to clean it out right now. So, you understand me? Sometimes you have good intentions, but you still end up making the wrong decision. So, maybe I can use that to apply. In my mind, how I see this, right? even if the DPP, you know, blundered on the decision that she made, and I don't know what else information she has. I wouldn't just listen to one lawyer, not with the background. Let me tell you a while ago that this person was being profiled for the DPP thing before, and this person was also disciplined by Paula Llewellyn, and this person also left word. That second lawyer, everybody agree with. This person had his own grosses with the system. I also get contacted by people who've been in the system, who are give guidance, and I make we know from the start a lot of things went bad when the first responder did not do their job, and that make things very, very difficult, exceptionally difficult. You understand me? So you cannot discount that as we talk about this. Let me take some comments and I'll be out because I've gone over the time that I usually go. All right, let's see what the people are saying. Elijah, the investigator, didn't do a good job. We know this already. Elijah says, I'm looking at 15 years, and that's just a shame. You understand me? Angela saying good night. Eddie Trent says common sense is not common. So it's bad. But we have to lay some of this at the feet of the investigator, and we've done that quite a number of times before, right? But when it's all said and done, right, very, very good arguments are made by the second individual, and of course the first one was just a confirmation. But what we're saying is that lawyers are split down the middle. So if lawyers are split down the middle as to how this is, then you can tell. But how steady feel about this? I believe that a lot of people in high places are behind this. And I do believe that this just exposes what we've been dealing with. We see how them work in a Dr. Andrew Holness case. You understand me? And just like how Paula Llewellyn has to go out with the blunder of the Vibes Cartel case, even though we know so enough people love say Vibes Cartel, they are road again. Again, that's a whole different thing, right? People saw the evidence with Cartel. We heard everything, but it never took very long before people said free Cartel. And now ISAT has a big name, you understand me? Because ISAT ran the last leg on that. So things can be funny sometimes. Sometimes it depends on who's supposed to go to trial or who is on trial. That's how we kind of deal with it. But the unfortunate, somebody say your feelings are so valid. It's a national disgrace. Yeah, man. People are supposed to feel angry about this, no matter how you take it. As I said before, I love what the second lawyer said about nobody walks around with a gun in their hand. And by the way, one thing we need to talk about that we don't talk about is how you ever look at Julian Silvera case yet and just put the man's face and just show the man just look careless yet? All the man face look careless. Anybody does, I mean, alone think about that. The man face just look careless. Silvera just look like one careless, irresponsible kind of person. As a matter of fact, there are some allegations that by the time he did his first term, they got rid of him, and Jamaica Young Police, I believe, said they throw piss on him or something like that. Allegedly, I don't know if that is true. The man look careless in his face. Beautiful woman, mother of his children, process engineer. So Melissa clearly was not somebody that this man could argue with and win. That's what I'm getting, you know. Probably always felt overpowered by her. Again, most women now go, if you were at home and you make feel like a 1-year-old picnic drowned in a pool, a whole heap of carelessness in that. Whole heap of carelessness. I want to hit the like button, man, because me say some things will sound good too. Forget about the part where I disagree with. I want to hit the like button, and remember the phone is here. You understand me? I probably would just take a call from a random person, not from the old stalwarts, just to hear if we have any lawyers, any thing or whatever. You want to shed some insights? If you want to give us some insights, I'm going to open the line, right? 876-251-3028. And you can make me know if you disagree with me. You can make me also know. But just don't disrespect me. I will respect your disagreement. I'm not gonna treat you like enough people do in that. You know, even if you have a point or a line, you can do it. Probably can take 2 calls if you want to go that route. You understand me? Somebody said the man just evil. Yeah, man, the man evil power. He wicked and he evil. And I know that that is the basis on which everybody is looking at it. Everything spell evil. What happened with the people them? Right now, me I wonder if I am full of, yeah man. Right now I am wondering if I even in the house in dirt are, because of the lies that they keep telling. Big up my brethren. My brethren, Dujan, so nobody can, this is steady. I mean, Dujan just disagree a while ago. Big up Dujan. You understand me? Make sure on support and follow Dujan. At the end of the day, the biggest thing coming out of this for me is the exposure. We see it in the civic groups them. Again, we see it in the civic groups them. A lot of PNP people in high places, they have been around, and a lot of them still there. So what Sykes gonna do out of this, I don't know. But hey, if Jamaica decide they're going to peacefully protest and strategically protest, and if you want to hold whoever is accountable to make sure that they fix the systemic issues, to make sure, say, it discontinues, because as we said before, it is a regular practice in a Jamaica that they've been doing this thing. Plead guilty to manslaughter, the law acknowledge you, and they've been clearing up. So we know that a big part of it has to do with the law governing the situation. And I have a problem with that law. I've said it. I have a problem with the law. We do it. I have a problem with the investigator. I have a problem with the fact that Bert Samuels did it. You understand me? And my biggest thing is just looking at the track record of the DPP, because the DPP is a big part of why crime is so low in Jamaica. Right? And if this lady was able to successfully prosecute two of the gang leaders that was responsible for most of the murders in Jamaica, then we're not dealing with a newbie. So even a man a while ago, he was one of them that was shortlisted. Right? But this, him never really did make it. So that's something to consider. But very good arguments. Right? We're not going to discredit his arguments, and we're not going to discredit anybody's feelings. I choose to disagree, because in disagreeing, we have to find some way to rock our head round the situation. Right? But I wouldn't call for the removal of the DPP. But one of the duties of the DPP is to make sure that there is public interest. I believe it is going to be for a lot of people in high places, including the DPP, to come and make some things clear to us from a legal perspective so we can understand better. But I don't know, maybe at the Taurus in Big always, we are known to support people when even the world is against them. You understand me? And I just look on the track record and I say, hey, but at the end of the day, we want the justice and we want the thing to discontinue. And we're going to ask for another thing. We need to also we need to also make noise about these cases where, for the most part, the man them a dirt the woman them. In some cases, woman a dirt man. We need to not just focus on one victim, right? But let's just honor the other victims that go through this kind of thing, such as the one that we had on Monday. You understand me? But family, tough conversation again. But again, as I said before, all conversations cannot be feel good. We're not going to leave all conversation in agreement, but you don't have to hate me for it, and you don't have to disrespect me for it either. Right? I am learning. So I took the position the other day. I was never going to come out here and say, yeah, man, the first law, I say it should have go the way me say it for go. That is why you call confirmation bias. The best way to approach information is commit to learning as you go along, right? It's just that it is the perspective that we got and looking where Dion went that we look at it. But, and I'm going to stop trying to close, right? Just understand that there is also politics at play. And in time, we will know who is behind what, right? If it is that this have going to cause the DPP to step down, it happened on her watch. But steady now call for it. But if it happens, we would have to accept it because it is bad. But the most I could hope for is that more people are held accountable. We would have really like to hear. But the unfortunate thing is that when you plead guilty to manslaughter, in Jamaican law, you remove the need for witnesses for a jury. You understand me? You remove everything and you kind of put it in the hand of the judge. So something needs to be done about that. You understand what I said to you? I just saw the thing set. Let me take some more comments and then I'll just close the show. The man just evil. I'm in full agreement. You understand me? Bless up, Father. You understand me? Yes, in the house, likely since all of that remodeling. So may I say, if Sykes is good, and there is something in our law that say, I know exactly what that is all about, All right. Somebody asking for help. You understand me? So, it's about looking, make me kind of lose my train of thought because sometimes, 1 second. All right, they get the help when they want. Big them up. You understand me? It's just unfortunate what's happened. You know what I mean? And let's just hope that something is done and Melissa gets real justice. Let's see some more comments and then we'll be out. One of the baby's statements said, okay, by the way, one of the things that was said from Bert Samuel's thing, and I'm seeing 132 right now live. I'm seeing 72 likes. Can I get 28 more likes? Bring me to 100, man, because I'm talking good. Folks, if we're not JLP especially, or if you're ordinary Jamaican, just understand this. We won the election the other day. We were in election mode. We did a lot of fun videos. What we're doing now is leading up to the next election because we're going to need the fourth term in order to keep Jamaica in good hands. We're focusing on, exposing, taking on some different things. So, you understand me? Watch a fun video, them. You understand me? But when we come, we're going to try to have these conversations and we talk it out. You might not agree, but disagreement is a great way to learn because at least you'll learn the other person's perspective. You understand me? I can tell you right now, my wifey, we're not in a big fuss. We're in a big fuss when the two towers come out of we, I'm going to tell you why it is. Because from about the first month, you understand me? We speak my mind. And she listen. So we had a big understand. We had a base. We have a base. We have an understanding of how we function. And you understand me? What the source and how to fix the problem then because we are used to having these back and forth disagreements. The disagreement they're rough, but the disagreement them no help me because I am committed to learning from her and she from me. We don't argue. But what we're not going to do, we're not going to come say, oh, say this marriage is perfect, how we good, we are the perfect family. I will put out the picture every day. No, we don't do it. But me nice up the show. We don't do none of that. You understand me? But we have a basic, sometimes Wife don't really like talk out sometimes when sitting better than her mind, and more times she just give me one line and I just mash up my head. And I just vex with her and I say, boy, I'm 13 years and now she use the same one line, so I make she go. And I just drive out and go karaoke and come back. But I do like Silvera. In a Jamaica, sometimes when we disagree, we're too quick to get disrespectful. So we're going to learn to agree to disagree. Me going to learn from you and you going to learn from me. But we should be all good. By the next election, we should understand, because this is just the surface. We have a lot more things that we're going to need to learn. You understand me? Wanna give me 25 more likes, because I don't know, so I talk good. Somebody said one of the baby's statements said that he found his mom in blood. When the investigator got there, there was zero evidence of foul play. That's not making... Well, we know it's not. What we have a problem with, is the fact that the law has the loophole that these people are using, and great attorneys are a part of the problem, but I feel them job that. So, you can't feel good about it, especially to the lovely ladies. It can't be a good thing. It's a bad example. It's a bad precedence, especially for somebody that was a lawmaker. It's a very, very bad precedence. You see what I say? So just understand that when we say we don't believe, we will know down the line how this goes. But in the meantime, we continue to contend. So folks, when I get 100 likes, then we need 24. I'm going to stop right now. Somebody say, I want, what? Somebody say, I want Andrew to step down and let Jamaicans get to feel these criminals and abomination people. Somebody say, I won't vote. I think no woman should vote in this country. So that's how she feels. Just understand that we can't cut off the whole foot because the big toe hurts. And we know that this is more than a big toe hurts. That's just an example. Andrew is the one that's cleaning up this stuff. You think about what used to happen in this country. If Andrew steps down now, what the hell do you think will happen to Jamaica? Look at what Jamaica was before Andrew is there. One of the things I'm trying to show people, well-thinking and well-meaning people, is for you to understand this, that, hey, this government is cleaning up a lot of mess. You understand me? It comes like somebody where garbage pack up in every room on top. Them say Rome wasn't built in one day. The JLP has made a lot of progress. You understand me? But just understand that a lot of these issues, them are come from way down the line. And let us see what comes out of this. You understand me? In the meantime, family, let me thank you. Let me thank everybody who joined us tonight. Let me go out. We have more to talk about. There is no way we can finish. Not even Dan Jackson Miller can do this in a one set, in a one go. But we will come back and we will talk about it. I appreciate everybody that decided that they'd stop by and listen to the show. You understand me? And I big up on yourself same way.
Play steady show in the morning and in the evening too. We play steady show in the morning.
On agree to the chat, I hit up the like, because I don't know me talk good. I if I don't agree.
Yeah.
Yes, I wanna big up on yourself.
You're listening to The Steady Show. Like, share, and subscribe.
It hurt.
You're listening to The Steady Show.
It hurt.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Family, wanna big up on yourself.
You're listening to The Steady Show.
Heart of love, never short of love.
Share,
Steady.
and subscribe.